Hello, Charlie TCG here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm doing a tier list where I think the best decks to play in the World Championships. Trying to think about where I think they are placed right now in the meta. What is the strongest deck right now? Does it have good match against the rest of the field? And what are some of the other decks as well? Could any of the Rogues Gallery kind of become a strong pick for the World Championships? Is it going to be a D tier archetype or an S tier deck, which is obviously going to have the likes of Regidrago and Charizard potentially in them? Just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel recently. I know I did say there was going to be a Regidrago mastering video out this week, but unfortunately, due to unseen circumstances at work, that may a little bit be delayed until next week or potentially even after the World Championships. So I hope that is okay with you all. So with that now out of the way, let's look at where I think some of these decks are placed going into the metagame. Golden Go, I generally think is quite a fun deck, but it can really struggle from any of these Kirin plays in Regidrago. I do think this is, I wanted to put it in the C tier archetype because I think Golden Go has a lot to offer. I think the Hyperoma and the aggressiveness that what Golden Go really has to offer is very powerful, has a really good draw factor, has the likes of either Darkrai or Palkia as your V-Star backup Pokemon of choice. But I think in the metagame it's evolved into, I don't think it's as strong, so that's why I'm putting it down into D tier. Roaring Moon is a very, very strong deck. It had a brand new synergy with the likes of the Petrant, giving that switching effect, so you can have instantly a much stronger control matchup for Serendipity for drawing as well. You also have Morpeko as well. So I do think that Roaring Moon is very strong, potentially going into C tier. I think it's very, very fast, very aggressive, but I think right now in the metagame, it may not be as well placed. Picture Control, I still think it's the best control deck to play right now. It is a ton of outs to so many different archetypes around the format. We are in a format right now where the likes of Regidrago and Lugia, which are one of the strongest and most played decks right now, have a pretty good control matchup. So that's one of the only things which can be very much a difficult choice. I think also in the 6X, pretty much you have to go into to the tournaments right now. I think that's definitely going to be a bit more to think about if you've got lots of ties. That's why I think it's going to be a B and B tier tech, including the likes of Charizard, Dragapult. I really like Charizard Dragapult. I think it's a really, really strong deck, but it needs have quite a lot of things going for this one. If lots of decks will be playing Kirims, or even like of Dusknoir, which I think does is a much stronger partner for likes of Dragapult, I really think this is why it's falling down a little bit of the wayside. It needs a lot of stuff going forward. If you chuck in even a Dusknoir in this one, you're effectively running 4-stage 2 Pokemon, which is honestly too much. Iron Thorns, I generally think right now is a really good pick. I think there's a lot of things to go around this one, and it can be very, very scary. I want to put it in the likes of A tier, but I think it's definitely a B tier archetype. If you want to play out some fun, controlling style aspect, I think Iron Thorns is a really good inclusion. If you think about the likes of Chien-Pao, Charizard, Gardevoir, Regidrago, Lugia, Raging Bull, all of these Pokemon, one of the strongest decks in the format, focus on abilities, and Iron Thorns shuts all that off. Yes, the likes of Lugia and Gardevoir have played the likes of Klefki and the likes of Fluttermane, which do shut off your own Iron Thorns abilities, so they can activate all of their stuff, which is definitely something to be a bit worried about. But I think slowing down the likes of Regidrago and Charizard is a very, very good thing to do. Ancient Box. I like Ancient Box, but I think right now in the format where you have the likes of Kirim, you have the likes of Dragapult, you have the likes of Charizard with the Dusknoir, they can easily hit the turn 1 knockout, turn 2 knockout, sorry, and you can really struggle to get these big one-hit KOs. So I do think it's a D tier choice. Similar thing as like Miraidon. Miraidon at times I think is really strong. If Lugia is going to be one of the most played archetypes, which is good to see where it's looking at right now, obviously Miraidon's going to have an absolute field day. Iron Hands is going to be pretty good if the likes of Gardevoir and Charizard Pidgeot are going to be around away. So I do think Miraidon can be a good pick, but it can really struggle against other archetypes like Regidrago. You're not going to get these big one-hit KOs unless you sacrifice all your engines for like Raichu. So I think it's definitely a C tier deck right now. This is my thought. Dragapult is going to be my first deck of choice right now, becoming A tier. I think it gained a lot of really amazing stuff from Uncharted Fables. Think about the likes of the Dusknoir, think about even likes of Serendipity and Night Stretcher. All of these stuff really adds to your consistency, adds to the damage output of Dragapult, and also adds to your drawing factor and reutilizing any of your really key points. I think it's always going to get even stronger for likes of Stellar Crown in next month, but right now in the format, I think Regidrago, Dragapult is a very, very good contention. I think it's much better than the Charizard one, because I think Charizard just really requires too many things to get going with Dragapult, whereas if you have the straight one with the Upper Neo Engine, the Mela, stuff like that, it can really keep going. Chien-Pao, I want it to be so good, but I actually do think it is a B tier deck. Now, we are huge Chien-Pao heads. We love this deck in this format, and you know how much I really love Chien-Pao, and honestly, the support on the channel with Chien-Pao really does mean the most to me. But I do think it may not be as strong right now. I'm really scared of the likes of the Dusknoir angle. I'm really scared of Kyurem, and I generally think these are going to be played in lots of archetypes. Even if the likes of Charizard may not be the best pick to play for Worlds, there's going to be lots of Dusknoirs around the field. There's going to be lots of Kyurems around the field. There's Regidrago. Potentially, it's looking like it's going to be a 20-25% deck. So that's one thing I'm very much scared about as well. Can we add Manaphy? Yes, but that also they do play lots of Prime Catch and Canceling Clones, so that's something to be scared about. And also Manaphy is a terrible starting Pokemon. So that's where I put it down in B tier right now. Snorlax still, I generally going to put it down to C tier. But I think it's one of the strongest ones. The reason why I put it down into C tier is because I think how scary the likes of Lugia is right now in the format. They play a lot of Jet Energy. You can also play other decks as well, which focus on lots of draw factors, and that can be really scary for something like Stall. Yes, I know you can easily win with lots of Flute, and that's incredibly scary, but I think right now in the format, if there's not going to be a no-tie sort of allowed, you have to have a really good record, like 6x, to go through. That's one of the reasons why I put the likes of Snorlax in a C tier deck. Lost Box, I generally think is a really tricky one. I could see these here as a B tier deck because they're still very, very strong, very, very aggressive. You have the likes of Iron Hands and Blood Moon Luna, these incredibly good attacking options, or Roaring Moon to be instantly one-hit KO anything. But the threat of Kyurem is way too scary. The thing about Regidrago is thinking like it's a 25% deck. I do think Lost Zone should not be played right now in this format. I'm going to put it down into C tier. Again, this is only my thoughts right now. It could honestly be a much stronger play leading up to the format, but I generally think right now it's not going to be a good pick from how scary Likes of Kyurem has to offer. Regidrago Ogre again, I think is an A tier deck. It is so fast, so aggressive. Gaining Fertility, gaining additional more draw factor is so powerful. Even likes of Azul has been testing for likes of the Dusknoir, giving you a one prize option ability to potentially take additional prize card or go ahead of the opponent just a little bit by taking an additional knockout, or even setting up it. But you put your opponent in an Oz prize tray. They effectively still need to take 3 more knockouts, even after giving them additional 1 prizer. So that's definitely one of the strongest things about this deck has to offer, and I'm a big, big fan. Lugia Archeops is really I'm torn if it's an A tier or S tier deck. But then I remember Lugia doesn't have as much setup as possible. I think right now it's a very, very strong pick. I think it's going to be incredibly well played. But I think if you want to have fun, like flipping coins and hoping you get everything, I think this could be an A tier deck. I want to put it into B tier, but I think it's going to be well represented. It's going to be the end of A tier. Pidgeot Charizard is the first S tier deck I'm putting up there. Hands down, I think this deck is incredibly strong. Yes, it has one of the most abysmal Regidrago matchup, but I still think it is quite winnable at times. I think Regidrago had a lot of counters to this one. You have the Dragapult to set up loads of damage. You have the Kyurem, you have the Raging Bolt, or even like some of Giratina to get these big one-hit KO's potential. It is very, very scary, but I do think it has so many options to so many different archives. The likes of Dusknoir added so many things to this one. Or do you just want to play straight Nest Balls and play the Gouging Fire build with Swakabilly? I put so many hours into Charizard and Pidgeot. I think it's one of the strongest decks right now in the format. I think it's going to be very well played, but it's interesting to see in the day how much it's going to evolve. Similar to Gardevoir, I generally think this is a very top tier A tier deck. If it's going to be a tier 0 and a tier 1, this will be tier 0.5. It's right in the middle, I think, right now. It has so many good things to offer. Going more to the TM Devo style build, I think it's going to be a much stronger build, especially with having double monkey. You spread lots of damage counters, and then you get a TM Devo play and just wipe your opponent's board out, which is very, very scary. We've seen that being played a lot more. Even the likes of the Bravery Charm is going cutting down to maybe even 1, or sometimes even not at all, because how powerful Monkey is for that spreading sort of damage counters around. Sometimes you don't even need that additional stuff with the likes of the Drifloon and Scream Tail around. And of course we have Regidrago, which is basically the S tier deck. It is the best deck to play right now in the format. I generally think Regidrago is incredibly powerful and really, really scary to deal with. It gained the most from the set. You can even have the likes of Haxorus as well for that 230 damage, which hits very, very good relevant numbers. It obviously gains the Kyurem, it obviously gains Vertantipity, and it's one of the decks which gained a lot of hype and a lot of love going right now in the format. Now it is definitely the hot deck to play right now, so lots of people are going to be countering this one, hence likes of Gardevoir and Lugia is going to be played quite a lot more. If that's sort of the case, that's why I think Charizard and Pidgeot is also good, because they have really good matchups into this one. If you aren't playing the Dusknoir line, you have a much worse Gardevoir matchup as a Charizard EX player. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little snapshot about where I think the tier list for some of the strongest decks right now in the World Championships really fall in. Do you agree with any of this one? Comment down below, because I would love to hash it out in the comments if you think that Golden Go is an S tier archetype, or I've missed talking about the Loyal 3. I think that's one of the most underrated decks, or my personal favorite, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Iron Valiant. Is that going to be an A tier deck? So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. Next week, obviously, we're going to talk about looking ahead, but also before Worlds, we're going to talk about all those predictions which I posted on YouTube. Can I do a little video recap as well? So as also potentially if there's any updates on my tier list as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what deck do you think is the best deck to play at the World Championships, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye for now.